Welcome to Tai Chi. Everybody ready? Let's warm up. Hands at your waist, turn your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your neck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your shoulders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Expand your chest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Waist exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Airplane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Touch toe. 1. Same way you go down is the same way you come up. Touching your legs, thighs, ankles. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Be careful. Shift your weight to one foot. Kick your foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift weight, kick your butt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Turn your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Heisman, opening up your spine, parallel feet, choose one side, cross and sit on that side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shift your weight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Short one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, practicing our good golden cockerel, perfect Tai Chi posture. First, grow a little taller. Okay, however it takes to grow a little taller. Notice where my feet are. They're not close together, but a little apart because there's going to be movement. Dropping your shoulders, definitely first. Side seam of your pants is your middle finger. Hollowing out your chest, tucking your butt under. Head erect, 50% evenly distributed on each side. Thinking about how we're going to be a golden cockerel, tongue on our palate, okay? Shift our weight, center, counterbalance, up at the same time the hand comes up, the foot comes up. Down, centering, and up, and out. Concentrating on your center of gravity, 2 inches below your navel. Last set. Shift weight, center, counterbalance. Hold it. Shift weight, center, counterbalance. 50-50, shift your weight to the left, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kick out in line. Set. Okay, holding your ball in a T stance, root down on the back or right foot. 90% should be on the right foot. Good Tai Chi posture. Don't huddle over your ball. Keep your posture straight. Out on an L, move the energy to your bow stance. Stretch, sit back, sit down, pivot, root down, firm down, T, ball to center, out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane, stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot, firm down, hold your ball to center, out on an L, move that energy, cross your hips and waist, through your shoulders and fingertips, bow stance. Sit back, sit down, pivot, center with a T, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hold your ball in a T stance, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Sit back, sit down, pivot, listen carefully, hold your ball in a T stance, out and to the side, part the wild horse's mane. Cloud hands in the 24. Flip the hands and join it. Sit back, sit down. 12 o'clock, stem and cup. Pivot out. Two things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 12 o'clock, stem and cup. 3 o'clock, two things happen. Rotation 2. Flip the hands, close the feet. Stem and cup. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, two things happen. Middle or cup. Flip the hands, close the feet. Middle or cup. Hook the back hand. T-stand, step out on the L. Turn the palm out, single whip. Half step forward. How do you sit back? Sit back. Hands go for the ride. Lift up the left foot. Pat your horse on the mane. Cross at the wrist. Step out to your left on your heel. Gather the energy, center your hands. Right hand, right foot coming up. Kick out in line. In, drop gently on your heel of the right foot, stretch it out. Bring your hands together, double punch. Sit back, sit down. Pivot to the clock wall, turn all the way around. Left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out in line. Make your hook on your right hand, toe down in line with the heel of your foot. Go down, sit on that right foot, halfway, veer to the left to set, up, golden cockerel. Put your toe down, pivot, hook, split, down, halfway, veer to the right to set, up, golden cockerel. Extend the knee, heel down, hold your ball. Today's lesson, heel out, turn the hips and waist, shuttle on the right. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball, left heel out, rotate, shuttle, left. Half step to the back, bring both hands down, set up your top hand, bend the back knee to go to the bottom of the seat to find that needle. One hand, join it by the other hand, then your foot, start in the middle, flash arms like a fan. Rock, pivot, on your toe with your fist, deflect to the right, as you then parry and punch. This is easy. Touch, roll back, make yourself small, spiral forward. We're closing our form. Sit down, sit back, pivot, pivot, in, off the ground, tuck the right wrist under your left, bring up your tiger, rotate, push out with the power of the left wrist, shoulder width away. How do you take your hands for a ride? Drop your shoulders, flex your knees, come down without moving your hands. They're attached to your body as you close your form, okay? All right, so we have a big task ahead of us in that we have to work on maiden works or shuttle, but I know we need a review with high pad on the horse and going through serpent in the grass. Commencing form, 50-50, 60, 70, 80, 90, off the ground, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Rotate to the middle of your thighs. Take a deep breath in as you elevate both hands. At shoulder level, drop your shoulders, hands go for the ride. Flex your knees. T stance, hold your ball. Center. Out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. Stretch. Right hand way away from your hips. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball. Out on an L, move that ball. Second parting of the wild horse's mane. Stretch. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, Hold your ball for better balance. Out on an L, move that ball. Final parting of the wild horse's mane. Where's your right hand? Right hand should be way out to the side of your hip. Half step forward as you hold your ball on your toe of your back foot. Spin the ball to the right as you sit back on your back foot. Lift up the right hand, lift up the left foot to counterbalance. Point it down. White crane spreads its wings. We're going to bisect our body. Drop your front foot, bisect your body. Cut it in half with your right hand. Look back at your back hand that's higher, parallel and higher. Weight on the back. Lift the front foot. Multitask as you brush your knee. Left hand way out to the side. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Stretch. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Half step forward. Sit back on your back foot. Turn the hands onto the toe. Set it down on your heel. Play your lute. We're going to repulse the monkey in a safe way. Drop your front foot. Center your front hand. Look at your back hand that's higher. Weight on the back. Lift up as you put your hand to the ear. Stretch out the foot. Bring it to its heel. Pivot on the ball of your front foot. Meet in the center. Slide forward, slide back. Center. Look at your left hand that's higher. Weight on the back. Lift, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the ball of your foot as you meet in the center. Repulse of the monkey. 2. Center, glance at the higher hand, lift, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center as you repulse. 3. Center, higher, look, lift, ear, toe, heel, meet in the center, repulse. Final. Hold your ball on a T stance. We're going to ward off as we grasp the bird's tail. Out on an L, move that ball, push your opponent away. Give me my space. Turn your hips and waist. Grasp the bird's tail as you put your energy on the back foot. Turn, contact, push at the center of your body, push your opponent away. Shoulder width away. Drop your shoulders, make yourself small. Then spiral that energy forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, right hand on the bottom, right foot ready to go to grasp the bird's tail. First taking an L, pushing your opponent away by forearming him. Turn their hips and waist. How does their hand go for the ride? Because you're storing that energy on your back foot. Contact, only push at the middle of your body. Separate. Roll back and make yourself small. Store that energy so that you can then spiral and power that energy forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, cup. You have a stamina cup. Out to the 9 o'clock, flip the hands, middle, T stance, hook, and you look at your back hand. The left hand comes across your face, out on an L, turns, and the palms go out. This is called single whip. Sit back, sit down, pivot, put your hands ready for cloud hands. Parameter 1. Middle, cup, 12 o'clock. 11, 10, 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. 11, 12, middle or cup. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip and open the feet. Middle or cup. 11, 10, 9 o'clock, 2 things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. Rotation 2. Stem and cup. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, 2 things happen. Middle or cup at 12. 11, 10, 9, two things happen. That's our final third rotation. At 1, 2, 3 o'clock, we hook the hand. We bring the other hand across our face, step out on an L stance, turn the palm, single whip. Half step forward on the back foot to your toe. Sit back on the back foot, all the weight on the back. Lift up the left or front foot, put it on its toes as you pat your horse up his mane. Left hand goes through the top wrist, both palms face down as you step out with your left heel. Gather the energy, center, right hand on the outside, right foot coming up, kicking out in line. In, down with your heel, look through your double punch. Sit back, sit down. Pivot all the way to the clock wall. Left hand on the outside, left foot coming up, kick out in line. In, hook, split, down, halfway, veer to the left, set, up, golden cockerel. Toe in line with the heel as you pivot, hook, split, down, halfway, pivot out to your right to set, up, golden cockerel. Extend the knee to the L stance, hold your ball. Out on another L, turn the hips and waist, right hand above the forehead, shuttle on your right. Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold your ball for better balance. Out on an L, turn the hips and waist, shuttle on the left. Half step to the back. Set up your right hand, weight on the back. Needle to the bottom of the C. How are you lowering that hand? Only by bending flexing the back knee. How are you coming up as you extend that energy? Touch with your heel out, push out using your core and energy. Sit back, sit down. Pivot on the heel, weight on the back as you come to the toe of your front foot. Swerve out with your heel as you deflect to the right. Come in, left foot, left hand out to parry and punch. Touch at your elbow, open your fingers, roll back shoulder width away, make yourself small, coil up and spring your energy forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hands follow, pivot, hands follow, pivot in, hands follow, shift your weight to the left, right hand on the inside of the cross. As you come up, you're rotating to embrace the tiger. How are you coming up? Only by unflexing the knee. At chest level, both palms are facing you and across. Push out with the power of the left wrist. Now the palms face downward. Shoulder width away. How do your hands come down? You drop your shoulders, drop your elbows, wrists, flex your knees. As you then shift your weight to the right, heel comes up, toe comes down, heel come down as you close your form. Okay, so we finished the 24 maybe in 8 minutes, 7 minutes, something like that. It took a lot of work. It's not easy. It's the gold standard. It's the most sought after style because from there you can pull the 10 form and the 16 form. And if you know 24 movements really well, you can apply those forms to the shorter versions. In instructing this morning and doing it by myself, and probably all the time that I do any Tai Chi, I always feel good because there's a shifting of weight. It's not just to challenge myself that I can hold my weight on right and left, but it also gives me a sense of defining what I'm doing, but also letting my body know that I'm in touch, I'm in tune, and I can do that, but it also gives me a sense of peacefulness. And how does it do it? It's because we're able to then store our energy and let it flow out. As we let it flow out, we bring it back and we contract it, and we then alternate the side in which we are holding our energy. So this constant going back and forth and ebbing and flowing helps us with relaxation. With that in mind, when we talk about hands, and we are doing a lot of different hand motions, such as maiden shuttling on her right, but or left, each time we do that, we're setting up our body to then help us with our hands. If we do not understand that principle, that the hands go for the ride, perhaps we are doing this and doing this. It's not just jerky, it's not just disconnected, but it's by itself, it's standing by itself. Whereas if we understood that in all of Tai Chi, the hands go for the ride, means then with my body turning and my hips and waist and energy moving, the hands take another formation. In that, it's setting itself up, turning with the hips and waist, and moving along in a whole fashion, okay? So it looks easy, it looks more pleasing, but it's sometimes hard to tackle. But if you can understand first mentally and absorb that and take that piece of information in, then work through your body to get that right, okay? All right. Let's start from any questions so far. I know that people have a lot of gray areas, and each one has a right to, to validate their concerns. And just remember that the 24 takes a long time to perfect. Every time you think you've got 50, there's still that much more to learn as we spiral up. And each time you get better, you feel so much better because it makes it a whole or one piece. All right, so I'm going to just try to pick a place, and then we're going to work on it. And we realize that when we pick a place, there's always that place where we can't see. So if you feel like you have to move around, you're free to move around, okay? And the way this formation of this room is it's pretty challenging, and the way the cameras are, okay? So maybe I should show you first, and then you can follow me, okay? So I'm going to start with kicking out with my right. And you notice that I'm angled. I'm not straight ahead. I come down with my heel. I extend the knee. I don't just plop the heel down. I extend the knee, come down. This comes closer to my body, and I look through my double punch. So that you're punching the ears of your opponent. So your ears of your opponent are not here, but a little closer, okay? Sort of like shoulder width. I sit back, and you notice that my hands go for the ride. They come back because I come back. When I turn, my hands open up. I shift my weight, or my weight is on my right. I come up with my left foot, left hand on the outside. I come out in line. I hook, I look. My toe should be in line with my heel. I'm fairly extended, so you don't want to just come up and plop it here and say, oh, I'm still in line. You want to come out because you're going to have to extend yourself as a serpent. The hook hand is higher. The hand closer to you that's parallel should be not in line, but closer to your body. Weight is heavily on this foot that's planted. This is only on its toe, 5 or 10% at the most. When I come down, the weight comes down. If the weight comes down, that front foot comes down. My hands come down, because if they're up here, it's not coming down. The weight is not fully on that foot. So I come down in a natural way. As I get to my halfway point, where the fingers are pointing to the bottom of the tile, I turn and point, pivot to my left, and I extend my hand. I still see people coming here, so they don't understand what extending the hand is. If you extend this back hand, this is a counterbalance. It helps you with the next movement, okay? Then you come up by shifting your weight to the planted foot now in the front, which is your left foot. Golden cockerel. And you see how the backhand is extended. When I come down, I think that it's about here for me, because when I spin around, the toe has to be in line with the heel of the opposite foot. I spin around, I'm here. Hook hand, hand that comes closer, I split, weight on that back foot, I come down, my halfway, my fingers are pointing to the floor, I pivot out to the right this time, the opposite way, I extend the back hand, I don't rush it because I know I'll flop, and I shift my weight and I come up as a golden cockerel. I extend the knee, I come out on an L stance, I need balance, I hold my ball. And sometimes when I go slowly and I'm instructing, I use this T stance. When maiden works her shuttle, she takes a foot out, turn the hips and waist, shuttles on her right. Okay, see this hand flips this way? Sit back, sit down, pivot out, hold my ball, shuttles on her left. Left foot comes, heel comes out, turn the hips and waist, shuttle on my left. And you notice a common thing, and I think I can be criticized for that. The hands do not go for the ride if I do this. There's power here, but remember the power comes from our mind, comes from our core. So we let our body make that motion for us. Out, turn, power this way. Half step to the back, set up your top hand, that foot in the back came down, lift up, go to the bottom of the C on an angle. So the bottom of the C angle does not go like this. The power of the hand going down bears on the weight and the flexing of the back knee. The power of the hand coming up bears on the unflexing of the back knee, shifting the weight totally, coming to touch for better balance, coming out because I need to shift or expand the power of the 100%, 90% of the weight and distribute it. Then coming back, this is called a rock, this is called a twist. What we're gonna do is shift our weight to the back foot, come up to the toe, because both feet cannot have the same amount of weight. We're gonna deflect to the right. So we're dropping this hand, putting it on our heel, veering to the right, deflecting. As my left hand comes out, my left foot comes out, I parry and I punch. I'm at the area of my elbow, and then you know the rest. You touch, okay, watch carefully. Shoulder width away, you drop down, you make yourself small. If you drop down and make yourself small, this is not enough. You don't understand the principle. You drop down, you make yourself small, you coil up. Then you uncoil by distributing the power that's stored in the back. Okay? So when we do a double punch, we have to start with right foot coming up, right hand coming up, kicking out in line. Down, out on an L, extend the knee. My body moves with my hands. This is my double punch. We now need to shift our weight. So I don't just bring this hand back. The power comes when when you sit back on your back foot. Very different if you pull back and then decide to turn. That's going to cause a fall. Double punch. We're about 50-50. I would say maybe a little less on each or a little more, but for our purposes, about 50-50. Sit back, sit down, pivot, hands go for the ride. As I shift my weight, my foot can come up, my hand can come up, I can kick out. Yeah, so it's going to take, you know, everybody's built differently, everybody understands things differently, and so it's going to, it initially looks, here, this is how I see people doing it. They're using their hands because initially when you see it for the first time, the hands are what you concentrate on. So the hands do not go for the ride, which it should, because they're leading your motion. But if you take it on your journey, you know that you're going to have to shift your weight. If my hands are set here, they're only moving because my body and core and my mind is making it move. I'm not using my hands to lead my motion, okay? But they're coming with the power, coming with the energy that I have stored in there. And this goes for all movements, okay? All movements. But we do things in increments, meaning if we're at 50-50, the 60, 70, and 80, and all the other numbers in between that are in increments. So our learning takes a similar pattern. You know you want to be able to shift your weight and do it in increments, but we have to build strength, we have to build confidence, we have to teach ourselves, so in increments is fine, but know that there's an ultimate goal that you need to reach. That the biggest difference between Yang 10 form and Yang 24 form is Tai Chi walk. Basically, you're going to come out, shift your weight, you're going to come out on an L, my foot is parallel or on a line. The energy is stored here. The energy then has to not just jump from here like this, it never jumps like that. It gravitates, goes through my system, through my core, and then comes down to my foot, to the tips of my finger. And that's not easy, but you have to do that. You cannot say, oh, I know Tai Chi walk, it's so easy, all you do is this, all you do is this. The energy is not dispensed that way, okay? And you can see right away, if your footwork is as jumpy and quick as what I just did, your hands have to then match it. So where is the ebb and the flow, right? So we need to take the hands apart, and we need to work on our feet and then match the feet with our hands and vice versa and work on it. So the easiest way that I can think about is coming forward. So we know that one of the basic principles in Tai Chi is the ability to shift your weight. What does it mean to shift your weight? Put your weight on your right, lift up the front foot, the other foot. Shift your weight, put it on the left, lift up the right foot. Put the right foot down, shift your weight, put it on the right, lift up the left. That's the shifting of weight, okay? So that principle, the basis of the foundations, is displayed in Tai Chi walk, okay? All right, hands at your waist. So we're gonna see the connection between T stance, L stance, bow stance. Pivot, good Tai Chi posture. So we're not straight up now, we're kind of relaxed. We're sinking our shoulders. Pivot on your right foot on a zigzag. Shift your weight to that right foot. Lift up your left heel, put it down. Turn the hips and waist. This is the place where the energy has to move. Bow stance. We adjusted the right or back foot to a 45-degree angle. We're about 50-50. We're not favoring the front. Sit back, sit down. The better you can store that energy in the back foot will allow you then to move, to zigzag to the left, Put your heel out on a line or parallel, energy stored on the back. Move that energy, flatten out, bow stance, bow and arrow. Sit back, sit down. Pivot on a zigzag, walk in that direction. Heel out on an L, turn the hips and waist, move that energy, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, walk in that left direction. Heel on a L stance, turn the hips and waist, move that energy, bow stance. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out, holding your ball. Out on an L, move that ball, part the wild horse's mane. Stretch. Do you notice my backhand? Is your backhand like mine? Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Hold your ball for better balance on a T. Out on an L, move that ball. Here it is. Sit back, sit down. Pivot out. Hold your ball on a T. Out on an L, move that ball. Get a good stretch. Half step forward, hold your ball. Spin your ball to the right. Lift up your hand, lift up your foot. Point it down. Get a good stretch. White crane spreads its wings. Weight is on the back. Drop your front foot as you bisect your body. Look back at your back hand that's higher. Lift up the front foot, bring it to the ear, set out your heel, multitask. Brush your knee, hands go for the ride. Sit back, sit down, pivot out. Parallel higher on a T. Ear, heel, L stance. Turn the hips and waist, that's how the hand gets to the side. Sit back, sit down, pivot out. Parallel higher on a T, ear, heel, hand, turn the hips and waist. Brush your knee. Half step forward. Sit back on the back foot, rock to the toe, set it on its heel, playing your lute. Drop your front foot, center your front hand, open to the ceiling. Weight on the back, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the middle, repulse of the monkey 1. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the middle, slide forward, slide back. Center, higher, glance, lift up, ear, toe, heel. Pivot to the ball of your foot as you repulse 3. Center, higher, look. Lift up, ear, toe, heel. This one now, you see this foot here? You turn it this way. So it's now parallel to the cross section. Or I'll explain it. Meet in the middle, slide forward, slide back. This foot should be ready to go to the street side and not too much fudging to hold your ball on a T stance. So the last repulsing of the monkey, when we bring this foot back, should come this way to come this way. Rather than coming like the regular positioning this way, we need to come up, down, turn that right away so that it's parallel yet to another line or on that other line facing the street, so that we will be in position for holding our ball to grasp the bird's tail. Okay, so let's just take it with the right foot on a line or parallel to the line on a T stance. We're going to grasp the bird's tail, forcing ourselves to understand the principle that our hands go for the ride. Out on an L, move that ball, push your opponent away. Stretch. Turn your hips and waist, turn it first, then reposition your hands. And how is it going to go down? Are you going to come down like this? I see lots of you going down like this. It's wrong. Can you correct it? How? Weight goes slowly to the back. The hands go further right. Turn your torso. Turn again to look and touch, but only push from the center of your body. Shoulder width away, dropping down, making yourself small, storing that energy. How are you going to come up? You extend by powering that energy from the back to make that extension. On the other side, sit back, sit down, pivot, ball for better balance on a T, out on an L, move, ball, give me my space. Turn your hips and waist, then power that energy on the back foot. Do not move your hands, only because they're connected, contact, center push, separate shoulder width, roll back, coil yourself up, and extend that coil as you push forward. Sit back, sit down, pivot, cup, 9, 10, 10, 9, 9 o'clock, two things happen. Flip the hands, close the feet. Look at that hand that's going on the right and the back, hook. Left hand across your face, step out an L, turn the palms as you push out. Single whip. Half step. How are we sitting back? Doing this? No. Sit back, it naturally opens, lifting up the front foot, putting it down, turning hips and waist, going up the mane, crossing. We're going to step out to the left with our heel. Both palms go down. Gather the energy, center, right foot, right hand, kick out. In, L stance, extend the knee, double punch. Sit back, sit down. Don't move those hands, they're attached. Pivot, left hand, left foot, up, kick out. In, hook, split, down halfway, veer to the left, extend and set. Up, shift your weight, golden cockerel. Toe down, pivot, hook, split, down, halfway, veer to the right, set, up, shift weight, golden cockerel. Okay, in the movements that we did, I can see at least 3 times that we're veering to the right and veering to the left. One is when before we get into double punch, we're coming out with our left foot towards our left, gathering that energy, coming up, right hand on the outside, coming out like this, in. We're veering now to the zigzag way, so we're here, we're there, okay? Coming in this way. And your specific question was, after we stretch out on a serpent, we're getting to that point, we veer, not veer means to favor or to lean towards that side, not necessarily lean, but favor that side in a zigzag. And so your question was specifically asked, do we just come and point straight? And I say no, because we're veering to the left. Okay, because what we want to do, we want to get back home eventually. So the choreographing says you have to veer, otherwise you will be off course. But there's something more to that, okay? And then you come up this way. But it helps us now to then face squarely this way, and then veer now to the opposite way, which is our right, and then come up. Now, to undo this veering so that we don't end up this way and want to go straight, it's coming down, and when we shuttle, we do not take the front position, but we take the zigzag again this way. And to get out of this going directly towards that angle, we then take the opposite. Then we straighten out by coming down on a needle at the bottom of the C. Then, and then there's another one as I do this. There's another veering. The veering occurs when we deflect. When you deflect, you're coming down on your heel, but you're swerving out this way, coming in, and then coming to a straightaway this way. Okay? And then there's some little veering when we open, when we close our form, we pivot out, pivot in, that kind of thing. Those are little minor ones, but still important. So good question.
Zigzagging, right?
Yeah. Zigzagging. What I try to impress on you, and I know that sometimes it does not reach you, is that when we do our Tai Chi walk, and I said pivot and walk in that direction, that means both hips are going in this zigzag direction. When we then put an L stance, we are then, how should I say it, adjusting that zigzag. But then we don't want to go straight forward. We want to then be able to zigzag. We want to be able to walk in this zigzag direction. We can never walk in the zigzag position if one hip is there because it's forced because of this leg positioning there, and this hip turning this way. It's going to hurt your knees or your hips. So you're going to have to walk in this direction. But what is that word I'm looking for? The adjustment comes when you take an L stance on a line or parallel to the line. If it's out this way, it's not going to help you. It's going to ruin your knees. Parallel or on the line, walking in this direction, moving your hips and waist, turning and addressing that front foot all the time. But once you get sloppy or you don't understand the principle, this foot turns, this foot is saying, I know I'm going to go there. I'm going to save my energy and keep it there. That's not the way it's done. You turn, walk in this direction. L, you turn, the energy moves with you.